Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back, or now, or hello. I don't know. Um, wow, I haven't done this in a minute. So this is my spoiler review for Assassin's Blade. I actually wanted to do my Shrek Readathon summary first because I've been reading these for the Shrek Readathon, which has been over now for quite some time. But the fact that I'm going longer is fine. But I've been vlogging so much for the other books that I've now run out of room on my phone. So I have to make these videos to make more room on my phone. So I can't post a summary yet because you can't summarize what isn't finished. So essentially, The Assassin's Blade is a series of novellas that precede the plot of the Throne of Glass books, and these are super fun because there's a bunch of references to stories that she talks about in Throne of Glass. It's a good time. Although, and she does it so well too, because it's just these little stories that she'll be like, oh yeah, I did that once, and they're like, what? And then you find out about it here, and it's such a good time. And because it's such a short little blurb in those, she took something very small and made it something very good. But yeah, it's essentially about Selena's life in about the year, a little more than a year, before. It's about her life as an assassin before everything that happens in Throne of Glass. But yeah, no, I really like how she did this. And it's technically a prequel. I wouldn't read this in chronological order. I would read it in publishing order. Because that's what I did, and I enjoyed that more actually, because you got to see the little throwbacks. And I almost feel like this gives away a little too much to what's going to happen later. So I liked finding out more, because this was essentially getting bonus content for things you already knew about. So I actually read this after Heir of Fire. It's somewhere around there. Read it around after the third or fourth book, and I think it'd be good. You just get to find out more about these little Easter eggs that you didn't know about. Anyways, the 5 novellas are The Assassin and the Pirate Lord, The Assassin and the Healer, The Assassin in the Red Desert, The Assassin and the Underworld, and then The Assassin and the Empire. She calls them different novellas, but the thing is, this is all essentially like sequential, like it's all time, like it's all, first of all, it's all about the same character, and it's all pretty much consecutive. I think there's like a week gap in there a couple times, but like nothing major. So I just consider this a book, like a prequel novel. Like I don't think it's like a bunch of novellas. It's just one book with different parts. But now I'm gonna give my spoiler warning because I'm about to spoil everything. And I mean everything. Like so many spoilers, all the spoilers. Every spoiler that can be spoilered, I will spoiler. Say hello to my fish. He doesn't have a name yet, but I painted him on my wall. And there's like other things behind me, but it's fine. You can name him if you want. I don't think he has a name yet. And if you want to name those, but they're not that important. Or my turtle. I don't think my turtle has a name yet either. I'm getting off track. Right. Spoilers! So if you haven't read it, go read it and then continue watching. Or, I mean, I can't force you, so you could continue watching, but I'm making these so people who have already read them will also enjoy them. But I mean, if it gets you to read the book, because you're like, oh, she's so excited, then all right, sure, whatever. Do what you wish. This is what I'm doing. And yes, just lots of spoilers. Just come fangirl with me. That's what I want. I want people to come just gush about these books with me, because I do love these books. Not all the characters, but I love these books. I love these books. I particularly love this book. Like, this one's gonna be, I'm gonna end up rating them once I finish reading all of them. Like, I'm gonna put them in my favorite order. And this one's gonna be pretty high up there. I really love this one. Right. I don't have a lot of, like, some of this is going to be vlogging, some of this is going to be me talking about notes that I made, and some of it is going to be me talking about sections of the book that I took pictures of because I didn't want to write notes or film anything about it because I wanted to keep reading, so I just took a quick picture and then moved on. But yeah, but the beginning and middle-ish parts don't have a lot because I read a good bit of it during the Shrek Readathon reading sprints over on Kelsey's channel. Yeah, her channel's I Read Today. I love that I'm plugging this readathon that is over, but we're probably gonna do it again, so just get ready for whenever this happens again. Yes. But yeah, so the beginning part is me just talking about the beginning, because I didn't take any videos or notes then. Alright, last chance to duck out. In or out? In or? Are you in or out? You with me and give a shot. Okay, sorry. I'm wondering how many people got that reference. It's okay. Yeah, so let's start with the beginning. The assassin and the pirate lord. Boy, oh boy, do I love this part. And I love what it leads to later on. The whole pirate thing really just, yes. Which is weird, because I'm not a big fan. Well, it's not, it depends. I have mixed feelings about Rolf, Captain Rolf. But essentially, it's the story of when Selena, I'm saying Selena, I know it's Selena, but I'm going to be saying Selena. Selena and Sam free 200 slaves from Skulls Bay and trash half the island in the process. And it's beautiful and chaotic, and I love it so much. And my girl is just the best. I love her. She's the best of the best, and she just is. Oh, okay. So another thing about what this book is, it's essentially spoilers. Okay, that was the last one. Okay, it's really Selena and Sam's love story. It's what it is, and it's enemies to lovers, which doesn't always go great when it's only one book, but this one is beautifully executed. It's so good. It's so good. I love them so much. I love them so much. Like I hold them so close to my heart. They're beautiful. They're my favorite, and yes. Anyways, in the whole pirate part, you do get to see a little bit. I mean, like, the thing is, she hates him. She hates him because they've always been in competition. But he's secretly in love with her already, and you can kind of tell, like, there's, like, hints here and there, but he does also act with animosity because she acts with animosity. He's like, he's not just gonna lie down and take it. No, sir. Not my boy Sam. She's such a little devil. I love her. No, but you can see a little bit of that, and it's really cute. And you also can see how much of a bag of garbage Arabin is, because he sends them there, and what he tells them is like, oh, I'm sending you there so you can, like, tell him he owes us because his men killed our men or something like that, which was false. He sent them there to finish negotiating a deal for slaves. Like, Arabin was gonna start, like, selling slaves, which both of them are like, absolutely not. Absolutely not. What? And this is when Selena doesn't know about how much of a big of garbage and Arabin is, you know? So she's like, I can't believe he would do this, and I'm like, I can. I hate it, and I hate him, and he's, ugh. But then she's like, this is awful, like, no, I'm not gonna stand for this. So she makes her own little plan to break it out, and then Sam ends up catching up, and he's like, okay, I'm gonna help, right? And so they do, and it's great, and I love them. And it ends with them having this mutual respect that really wasn't there before. Because they're like, oh, we're both human beings? Who would have thought? And I hated that laugh. That sounded like snooty. Well, no. And they have this super cute, super awkward, like, hey, we now don't hate each other and we're kind of friends. I guess that we are sort of now deal, sort of, aren't we, huh? That's them. That's them at the end of this. They're just like, right? But then they get back and everyone's like, oh, I can't believe you did this, you messed up my deal or whatever, and now we can't ever go back with the pirate guy. Oh, she also made the captain promise. She was, apparently no one knows how old the greatest assassin in Ardalan is. They just know it's a woman. And so, oh my gosh, the hissy fit that Rolf threw when he found out he was being beat by a 16-year-old is the funniest thing in the world. It brought me such joy. I'm like, that's right. That's right. You're getting your ass handed to you by a teenager. Oh yes, so they go back and Arabin's pissed, so he literally beats the living daylights out of Selena. And then he sends her off to the Red Desert. Like, he's like, okay, you're gonna go off and train because punishment. I don't know. And yeah, so then that's where the next story comes along, because it's her traveling to get to the Red Desert. And along the way, she stops at this little inn, and there's this girl, and she's named Irene? I'm gonna go with Irene, but if it's Irene, someone let me know. And yeah, so it's like a quick, this one's like less plot. It's just, she goes there, and there's men, and they're trying to do bad things to Irene, and Selena's like, I want to fight. And so she goes out there, and she beats them up, and then she teaches Irene self-defense, which is great, and I love that, and it's fantastic. But then the one guy that got away went and got more men, and she kind of uses them, like I think Irene ends up getting like held or something, and they're like, oh, you better put your weapons down or we're gonna kill her. And then Irene ends up beating up that one guy that's holding her, and then Selena takes care of the rest of them. But she apparently did that on purpose as like part of the training. Like, she knew it was gonna happen, and so she was like, which part of me loves, because it shows how totally BA she is. And then another part of me is like, but poor Irene, she just learned these things. But Irene did end up kicking some ass, so however you want to take that, it's up to you. I mean, it's pretty good. It's pretty good. It was good. And then at the end of it, which probably, there's this little thing that happens a lot where Selena will feel a tug of fate, is kind of what she calls it, I think, where she feels like the strings of like the world or something, like connecting her to like another person. And so she's like, so she feels compelled to do something. Like, she doesn't have to, but she's like, I should. So she leaves Irene a bunch of money so Irene can go off to the southern continent and become a healer, which she does. And the two part ways. And then our girl comes back later on. Did I? I don't know. It's fine. But I love the little tugs of fate. It happens a couple times. I don't know if it was the second or third time, but then it happens again. It happens with Manon. But we'll get there. Well, moving on. So she helps her, and then she leaves. Anyways. And it's essentially like ninja training, and then things go wrong. Not the training. The training goes fantastic. My girl does spectacularly. Cancel. Which you find out why later. Brain. Oh, right. She meets a shapeshifter, Spider Silk. It's just really strong. I don't know how people make it into things, but later on, she's the father of like... Anyways, it didn't go well. So I steal the other one. And yeah, it's such a fun part. The horses, the big jump, like, haha! You can all suck it, and it's a good time. And the master sees that though. He's like, no. One's pretty snazzy. Although Ansel's kind of bitter. Ansel's the worst because she drugs her, attacking the keep. And she's literally about to execute them. She doesn't want to kill her friend, even though friend is the one who betrayed her. And so she ends up letting her live. A ton of gold. And so now our girl can buy her freedom. The king of the assassin with gifts, emotional manipulation. But now she can buy her freedom because she has all this gold. So she goes back and she can buy her freedom. And that is what happens in the beginning and middle. And yes. And now we get to go to the vlogging part. Okay. Excuse my appearance, I just took a shower and started reading. But Sam and Selena are finally just... and they're so cute. Cause she's like, cause he tells her all about how like Arabid is giving her a bunch of presents and like giving her the best missions and all this free stuff to try to make it up to her that he beat the living hell out of her. Left her bloody and unconscious on the floor the last time he saw her. And he's like, I'm sorry. No. So she sees not a scratch on Sam and is like, I'm sorry, did nothing bad happen to him after I was beaten to a pulp, then sent away for 3 months in the desert? But anyway, so she like starts picking fights with him because she's not happy. And it doesn't help that like Lysandra's there and she hates Lysandra. And she doesn't know it, but she has a little baby crush on Sam or whatever. And so she sees him being nicer and she's like, right? So no, right? And so she's like picking a fight with him. She's like, what do you care? Whatever. And like, you know what? I don't. And she was like, I don't care. Like, you can do whatever you want. Goodbye. And then he's like, do you want to know what it took for me to forgive Arabin? What I made him promise? I made him promise to me that he would never lay a hand on you ever again. And she's like, but why would he do this? She's like, why? That's so nice. Then she's like, I don't even know how to talk to him anymore. I'm just like, what do I do? What do I do? And so they end up having to all go to the theater together. And she's like, I have to say something. I have to say something nice. Because he made a comment that made it seem like, or the way he was acting made it seem like he was waiting for her to make fun of him for that. And so she's like, I have to say something nice. I gotta think of something. I gotta like thank him or just say something nice, Lena. Just say something nice. And he's sitting behind her because they're like in these little box seats. And it's her, Lysandra, Arabin, and Sam. And so she turns around really quickly, looks at him, and she's like, you look handsome. And then turns back around immediately and just like stares at the ground, just like, don't even, right? And she's just so flustered by it. And then she's like, I'm very aware that he's right behind me and that my dress is off the shoulders. My shoulders are showing and I'm very aware he's right behind me and he's ah. She's so relatable. I love her. She's so funny. And then he comes up really close to her and he's like, you look really beautiful, by the way, but you probably already knew that. And she's just like, I'm not gonna smile. I'm not gonna do it. I'm not gonna smile. No. No, sir. I'm here for the theater. This is my happy place. I will be happy in my happy place and not think about that. I love them so much, and it's about to get so good. But the thing is, when it gets so good, you know what's about to happen. You know what's about to happen. When it gets so good. Yeah, I loved it. I can't be the best at everything, you know? It wouldn't be fair to the rest of you now, would it? Okay, so I remembered one thing, but I didn't remember something else. So I remembered... Okay, anyways, okay. 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 So I forgot that Sam actually did get beaten too. And he had been unconscious for like a day or two or whatever. No, but then he kept going and he was like, he sent you to the silent desert, but but my punishment was seeing him beat you to a pulp. And she was like, why? And he's like, bitch, please, after school's bay, you know why. You should know why. You know the answer. And immediately a homegirl, in the most relatable way, just completely like avoids his sentiment and is like, okay, but like you like Lysandra, right? Because like you're gonna bid on her, right? And he's like, with what money, bitch? No. And then she's like, okay, but do you want to? And then he was like, why do you want to know? Why do you want to know? And he's like, oh my god. He's like, you like me too. And then she was like, because I want to know if the beating, like, damaged your brain or whatever. And then he makes a joke about having, like, a summer romance with Lysandra, but it was, like, obviously a joke. And then she's like, whatever. Me and the son of the mute master, you know, we're pretty... Let's just say he was pretty friendly, much friendlier than all the other silent assassins. Poor baby Sam is so in love with her, just goes quiet and silent. And he starts to try to, like, go away. She's stupid, and she gets all defensive, and she just up immediately. But then she's like, okay, you know what, no. So she, like, asks him for her help on this mission, and she, like, doesn't need his help, but, you know, it's fine. And then she's like, help me, I'll give you half the money. He's like, keep the money, just stopping more slave trade is good enough for me. But he's, like, immediately just forgiving, and he's like, keep your money, and he's like, let's do this. He's like, you sure you want me? And she's like, yeah. And he's like, then we'll start tomorrow, and they start forming his plan. He's like, I'll meet you in your room after breakfast, or whatever. So he's like, I missed you this summer. And she's like, I hate 1 minute, but I missed you too. But he's so patient with her. And even though when she's being stupid and deflective and defensive in a very relatable way, in that I would do almost exactly the same thing. I really can't with them. I can't.
So it's like raining or whatever, and they're staking out the house. And he comes back because he had been looking at the back of the house. And so she like updates him, and then she moves closer to him, and she's like, I obviously moved closer to him to be warmer. I'm absorbing his warmth. That's what's happening. And then I very clearly did not notice when he also moved closer. I can't with her. Oh, I love them. God, she's adorable. Like, she like didn't land quite right, and then he like helped her up, and she was like, I didn't yell at him for assisting me? What is happening? This is weird. And I'm just like, oh, you sweet summer child. What's your name? My name is wind and rain and bone and dust. My name is a snippet of a half-remembered song. I have no name. I am whoever the keepers of my fate tell me to be. Then let me call you mine for a dance or two. I love them. They're both so dramatic. No, I don't want to read it. I don't want to. No, it didn't happen. No, I don't want, no. I'm good. No. So Sam's fighting in the pits or whatever, and she's pissed off, and I'm like, and in my head I was just like, she should go in there and fight him. That'd be so funny. Just jump in there. Just be like, oh, you want to do this, huh? You want to do this? And then, like, on the next page, she was like, I have half a mind to jump in there and fight him myself. Now that'd be a show. And I was like, sorry. You know, I don't need to finish this today. I really don't. I don't need to finish this today. I'm not going to. It's... The sun was setting. They were kissing and being happy. We can leave it there. It's a good place to stop. No, I don't need to. I don't need to read more. Do not. I don't need to. Yeah, nope, I don't need to read anymore. Okay, so I read another chapter, but I'm actually stopping here. I really am, because I don't trust things. I don't remember when, so I'm gonna stop, because they were happy at this end of this chapter too. Snuggles and kisses. We love that. So fun, so cute. A little more pressure after this, but, you know, still good. Still happy. Yay. Now it's sleep time. No more. No, I'm good. Good night. I'm chilly. I'm cold. I just want to cuddle under my covers. But I have to read now. I have not read like all day because the very bad, not good is coming. So I think I still have like 2 chapters before it happens, but I don't know. Let me see. Okay. Maybe. I think I'm right. I think it's 2. God, she got her mantra from him. I forgot. It's gonna hurt. It's not fair. It's not fair. Because he's so good. So good. And he never got to know who she really was. They didn't have the chance for her to tell him. Because she still had a lot of growing to do. She has to go through so much more without him. And he didn't just almost die. He was tortured real bad. And she'd stayed up all night worrying about him, just pacing. And this entire time, they were hurting him. And she hugs him when she sees him again, even though he's dead. And she feels just a little detail about her feeling guilty. Because he still smells like Sam, and he smells like the cheap soap that he uses because she won't let him use his lavender one, and she feels bad because she should have just let him use the stupid soap. And she had no right doing this to me. I already knew, and she made it. And there's still more to go. It's not the end. So many other things happen. Okay, I'm gonna keep going. Well, I finished. I hate Arabin so much. Why did you do it? Because I don't like to share my belongings. What are you, 5? Well, now we're all set up for the next one. I have words, but they're not, yeah. So much for a honeymoon. I do love it though. I'm drained. Okay, sorry I look, sound, feel like a mess. It'd be that way. So this is my second time filming an ending because my other ending video, like clip or whatever, ended up being 18 minutes long, and I'm like, that's already half as long as what this video is, and I don't feel like editing it down. So I'm just gonna do a quick wrap up. Essentially, I love this book. I definitely love it more than the first, second, I think 4th book. I still need to reread. Oh, and which I always forget to count Tower of Dawn, because to me it's almost like not part of the series. But definitely better than Tower of Dawn. And then on par with Empire of Storms. I might like Air of Fire better, but it's okay. And I still haven't reread Kingdom of Ash. I started rereading it and then I just didn't want to be sad. But yeah, I talked a lot about just little notes that I had, like Sam buying her the sheet music and it being so sweet and adorable, and it meant more to her than any of the gifts Arabin gave her. And how she would make these little comments where she would cover her feelings or whatever, and then he'd be like, oh well, you said you didn't care, and she's like, I lied, you know I lied. And I really felt that. And then she'd be like, you moron, you ass, you stupid idiot, and she kissed him, and I'm like, yep, that's the mood. And there were so many moments. I even pictured 3 examples where they would kiss, and she would say something like, and he kissed me like we had all the time in the world, like we had a lifetime of kisses ahead of us, like, and it hurts, it really does. And then she blames herself. I talked about that too. She blames herself for so much of it, like 100%. She's like, this is all my fault. I'm like, it is 100% not your fault. It's not even close. And she's so hurt and destroyed by it, and she really just wants to give up, but then by the end of it she's like, no,
I've been through his death. I've been through whatever I had to put up with Arabin. I escaped execution from the king. I can live through this. I'm gonna keep Sam tucked into my heart, and he'll be a pocket of brightness when the darkness is too much for me. And then she starts using his thing, the I am Selena Sardothian and I will not be afraid, and it just breaks you. Ugh. I think that's basically everything I talk. Oh, and then me and homegirl vibe. She's just like, I'm a creature of luxury, and I'm like, yes, because he was like, we've done a ping for your lifestyle. She's like, my lifestyle, and she's like, no, he's right though. And yeah, there was one where it was like, but it was something about like the party that they went to being a revelry at the throne of excess, and Selena was a willing sacrifice, and I'm like, yes, girl likes a party. We would have such a fun time. We'd probably end up burning the party down, but we'd have such a fun time. Me and her, it'd be so good. And Sam just being so understanding, because at one point Arabin tried to being like, oh, do you want to know about her past? Like, I can tell you about her past, like trying to trick him, turn him against her, whatever. Like, you don't know everything about her. And Sam was just like, I'm sorry, this is gonna be a little shaky. Sam was just like, I don't care. I do not care. No. You ain't it, sis. Bye. And backed up his woman, and I love him. He didn't deserve what he got. And this book is amazing. And Selena has a lot more to go through, but she's strong. She'll get through it. I mean, I know, but I really enjoyed this book, and rereading it was so fun. I highly recommend it. Reading it if you haven't read it, rereading it if you haven't read it in a while, because it was such a fun reread. And I don't know if I had only read it like once before, maybe twice, but I forgot about a lot of stuff, so it was almost like reading it for the first time again. Except that I knew the major thing that happened, but it's okay. But yeah, just if you hear the book calling out to you, saying, read me, I don't know, maybe you'll want to pick one up, crack it open, and break its spine. I explained it really well in the readathon reading sprints, that it's, so I guess I'll do the whole analogy again because it was pretty good. So in middle school, I used to have this sweater. It was this big gray Hollywood Tower Hotel sweater from Hollywood Studios, and I loved this sweater. I wore it so much. One day, I sadly lost it. I actually know exactly how. But it's fine. It's fine. And just reading these books is what I imagine it would feel like to put on that sweater again, essentially. I just